Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever wanted to capture the absolute essence of a summer harvest and keep it perfectly preserved right in your kitchen, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into some expert agricultural sources to bring you a complete masterclass on a highly practical, surprisingly beautiful skill, the art of garlic braiding. Let's kick things off with a bit of a provocative question. What if you could take a dirty, freshly dug bulb straight from the soil and make it last in your pantry for up to 12 entire months? I know it sounds a little like magic, but according to our sources, it's really just pure agricultural science mixed with a bit of traditional crafting. And the absolute best part, it's incredibly easy to learn. All right, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering the art of garlic braiding, prepping your garlic harvest, the step-by-step braid, perfecting long-term storage, mistakes to avoid, and we'll wrap up with final thoughts and safety. So let's jump right into section 1, the art of garlic braiding, where beauty meets utility. Now, what I found totally fascinating in the research is the historical fusion of aesthetics and pure utility here. You see, braiding is an incredibly old practice. Historically, across Eastern Europe and the Balkans, farmers would literally weave tough, fresh cattail leaves into their garlic just to bind the heavy bulbs together. Today, well, it brilliantly merges rustic kitchen aesthetics with serious space efficiency. It gets your harvest off the floor and turns it into a hanging masterpiece that keeps those robust flavors literally within arm's reach while you're cooking. Moving right along to section 2, prepping your garlic harvest, the foundation of success. Because, as we're about to see, not all garlic is created equal. Okay, the absolutely crucial first step here is that you must select pliable soft-neck garlic. Hard-neck varieties, which, don't get me wrong, are absolutely beloved in colder climates, well, they have this stiff, woody central stem that produces those beautiful flowering scapes. But that woody stem will literally snap in half if you try to weave it. Soft-neck garlic, on the other hand, which is what you'll usually spot in grocery stores and thrives in slightly warmer climates, has super flexible stems and multiple layers of cloves. It is exactly what you need to create a really tight, beautiful braid. Now, before we even think about crossing a single stem, we have to cure the harvest. Curing is this essential 2 to 4 week process of drying the bulbs down. As the garlic just sits there, the remaining energy from that green stalk transfers directly down into the bulb. That's what plumps it up and gives it that classic, protective, papery skin we all know. Without this curing process, your garlic is going to rot way before winter even arrives. So, to achieve that perfect cure, our sources suggest treating your freshly dug bulbs kind of like delicate apples. You want to lay them out or hang them in loose bunches in a dry, shaded place, ideally somewhere between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Listen, direct sunlight can literally cook the bulbs, so keep them well shaded. You also need to provide excellent airflow. Use fans if you live in a super humid climate, just to make sure that moisture evaporates perfectly. You'll know they're ready to go when the skins are totally papery and there's absolutely no green left inside the stem. And here's a golden rule that honestly caught me a bit by surprise. Do not wash your garlic with water. When you harvest your garlic, it's going to be covered in dirt, naturally, but you have to resist the urge to rinse it. Added moisture is the absolute enemy of curing. Instead, you just want to use a soft vegetable brush or even just your fingers to gently rub away that dry soil. You can peel off just one outermost layer of dirty skin if you absolutely have to, but leave the rest alone to protect the bulb. All right, section 3, the step-by-step braid. This is your kitchen masterclass. Let's roll up our sleeves and build this thing. First, you'll want to gather some pretty simple tools on a flat surface. Grab about 8 to 11 heads of your perfectly cured soft-neck garlic, some sturdy twine or heavy string, and a pair of sharp scissors. Oh, and here's a really fun tip from the experts. You can actually add dried summer flowers, think zinnias, statice, or straw flowers, to weave a bit of aesthetic magic and a really cool pop of color right into your braid. Let's break down the actual physical technique. First up, trim those dried roots down to about 1/4 inch so they don't just shed dirt all over your kitchen. Next, we need to establish a strong foundation. Pick out 3 of your largest bulbs, lay their stems flat, and tie them really tightly together with your twine, right at the base of the bulbs. Then, you're going to place a 4th bulb right in the dead center of this trio, laying its stem straight down the middle. From here, honestly, think of it exactly like doing a French braid. You cross the right side stalks over the middle. Then lay a new bulb on the right side, making sure its stem lays straight down that center path. Next, cross the left side stalks over the middle and add a new bulb to the left side, again laying its stem straight down the middle. If you're adding those dried flowers we talked about, just lay the flower stem right on top of the new garlic stem and braid it right in. And hey, here is a very reassuring secret for beginners. Even if you totally mess up the crossover pattern and forget which side you were on, it's okay. As long as you pull it tight, your braid is still going to hold together wonderfully. Once you reach your desired length, which is usually after about 8 to 11 bulbs, you'll be holding a pretty thick handful of dried stems. Just keep braiding those empty stems out for a few more inches and then tie off the remaining leafy ends super tightly with your twine. You want to create a really strong loop with that string so it can safely support the weight of your delicious harvest when it's hanging from a hook in your home. Which brings us right to section 4, perfecting long-term storage and maximizing that shelf life. 6 to 12. That number represents the amazing amount of months your soft-neck garlic can actually last on the shelf. But that's if, and really only if, you follow some very specific environmental rules. See, commercial storage always aims for a sweet spot, somewhere between 56 and 58 degrees Fahrenheit, with an ideal humidity of right around 45 to 50%. Now, for us at home, this simply means hanging your beautiful new braid in a cool, relatively dry place. Think an unheated pantry, a cool hallway, or maybe a well-ventilated, dry basement. Those are perfect. Just ensure there is constant, gentle ventilation and keep that braid entirely away from direct sunlight or stagnant, damp air. Now for section 5, mistakes to avoid. Because we really want to protect your harvest. And even the most beautiful braid can be ruined by improper handling. First and absolutely foremost, the refrigerator is the enemy. Never, ever store your braid or even loose bulbs in there. Garlic is incredibly responsive to temperature shifts. Holding garlic at roughly 40 degrees Fahrenheit actually tricks the bulb into thinking it has just survived a long winter, which directly stimulates rapid sprouting. Before you know it, your cloves will start pushing out these bitter green shoots, which drastically reduces their culinary quality. So keep them at room temp or in a cool pantry, but never the fridge. Our second major pitfall is what we'll call the one rotten apple rule. You really can't just hang your braid and totally forget about it until spring. When you need garlic for a recipe, start snipping from the bottom up. And if you ever spot a bulb in there that starts to feel overly soft, squishy, or shriveled up, simply snip it off with your scissors right away. Doing that prevents any rot from spreading to the rest of your healthy harvest. And finally, we've arrived at section 6, final thoughts and safety. Now, this is a very critical warning from our sources. Sometimes people want to preserve their garlic by pureeing raw cloves in olive oil instead of keeping it dry in a braid. If you choose to do this, that garlic oil mixture absolutely must be frozen immediately. Never store a raw garlic and oil mixture at room temperature. Because garlic is a low-acid food and mixing it with oil cuts off the oxygen, it creates the absolute perfect environment for the deadly growth of Clostridium botulinum, which is the bacteria that causes botulism. So always, always freeze it immediately to ensure your safety. All right, with safety in mind, let's look forward to the reward. Just imagine the snow falling outside, and you're reaching over in your warm kitchen to snap a robust, papery clove off your beautiful rustic braid. From rich spaghetti sauces to homemade bone broths, the flavor of garlic that you've cured and stored yourself is honestly just unmatched. So what delicious harvest recipe are you dreaming of making? What are you going to cook first? Just a final reminder, please remember that safe food handling is paramount. Always verify your local health and safety guidelines when preserving any agricultural harvest to ensure compliance and protect your family. And that officially wraps up our masterclass. It's really amazing how a seemingly simple agricultural skill can totally turn your kitchen into a beautiful rustic workspace and pretty much eliminate your need for store-bought garlic for an entire year. So the next time you hold a head of garlic, are you just going to throw it in a drawer, or are you ready to weave it into a masterpiece? Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next explainer.